What is going on, everybody? DJWaters22 here, and in today's video, I'm going to be helping out Diablo 2 players understand Path of Exile. Quick disclaimer, this video is not, I repeat, not for Path of Exile players. This is not for experts, elitists, anybody who knows about the game. This is specifically aimed at Diablo 2 players. I'm going to try to help you guys out because I know how frustrating it is trying to understand Path of Exile. All right, so in this video, I'm going to be giving you 7 tips to help you understand. And the first one is going to be probably the most important one: erase Diablo 2 from your mind. Okay, I know it's kind of natural to compare things to a game that you love so much. We all know Diablo 2 is a masterpiece. I don't think anybody would argue that. Most of the Path of Exile people are Diablo 2 fans, so trust me, we all get it, but erase it from your mind. Okay, I played this game about 2 years ago for the first time, and I absolutely hated Path of Exile. I picked the Marauder. It was terrible. I went into it blind. I had no idea what I was doing, and all I would say is, oh, Diablo 2 was easier on the skill tree. Oh, Diablo 2 looked cooler than that. Oh, this is a copy of Diablo 2. Just let it go. Come into it with the mindset, you understand this is going to be stressful. You understand it's going to be a new experience, but please erase Diablo 2 as much as you can. The second tip is going to be understanding currency. What is it? What do you need to find? What is the goal here? Well, you might be used to getting gold generally in Diablo 2. That's not really something that's going to matter here. Okay, you don't have to worry about gold in this game. Instead, there's a lot more things to worry about. This is my currency tab. Now, you actually have to pay for this if you want the currency tab organized like I do. You do not in any way, shape, or form have to buy this. This is totally a quality of life change. I personally beat the entire game without spending a penny. However, if you do not spend a penny, which I don't suggest you do without enjoying the game, it's going to look like this, right? You're going to have all these things just kind of thrown around, just like in Diablo 2. You know, you'd have to organize it by yourself. It's going to look just like this. You know, you got your orb over here, you got this, you got that. I'll explain these things in a moment, but you know, it's just going to look all over the place. But we're going to use mine just as an example because mine looks a lot more organized. So imagine these as runes, right? You have like the L rune, which is a skull of wisdom. It's trash, right? And then you'll get, you know, other lower ones, blah, 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 blah. But eventually you'll find things like an exalted orb, or you'll find something like a regal orb. So these are going to be worth a lot more, but don't worry about it too much. What you need to understand is most of the things that you find on the ground, they're going to be called orbs. Like this one's Orb of Chance. This is Orb of Alteration. Now, what do they do? Well, honestly, this is kind of where you have to read. It says reforges a magic item with new random properties. That's just for one example. What do you think that does? Reforge means like kind of recreate or change it, right? So you could just read what these do. But anyways, if it says orb, if it says transmutation shard, that's probably going to be a smaller form of the orb, which it is here. Transmutation shard, and then you have an orb of transmutation. Shard is a smaller version of it, but don't worry too much about it. Basically, when you're out in the world killing things, if anything looks like these little things and they're not items, right? If they're not a bow, if they're not an armor, a belt or something, 99% of the time, it's going to be something you want to keep. Okay, so as you can see, there's just so many. I'm not going to get into what all of them are. All I would say is pick everything up, sell it to the vendor. You don't have to pick every single thing up, but pick up a lot of items, look for magic items, try to sell in bulk because you'll get a lot more currency selling in bulk of things. But if you can only sell 1, 2, 3, stuff like that, that's totally fine. If you ever find one of these, it's called the Chaos Orb. This is pretty much how most people trade. This isn't the highest rune, if you would want to call it that in currency, but this is probably the most common one that everybody trades. Now, you're not going to find it in the beginning of the game, but eventually you will find it. Don't worry about this one as much, but be familiar with, oh, if I find a Chaos Orb, it is a really good thing. All right, so if you are ready to sell things, just to figure out what you could get, go over to a merchant that says sell items. Click on a few of these. I'm just going to show you. This is the actual gear that I use. So I will not be selling any of this. So let's look at what Nessa offered us here. We have a Jeweler's Orb. We have a Divine Orb. Again, you can read in the blue for what these things mean. We have a Scroll Fragment, Alteration Shard, and an Alchemy Shard. Again, shards are a smaller version of, say, something like this, an orb. So if you see right there, it says stack size 2 out of 20. Once you get 20 of these, you'll get what's called an Alchemy Orb or Orb of whatever. It's going to be the same for all of them. If it says Alteration Shard, that means then the next one's going to be an actual Shard or an Orb of Shard or some kind of spelling like that. The orbs are going to be worth more than, say, the shards. Does that make sense? Because there's a very small portion of what an orb could be or should be. In the beginning stages, just collect everything that you can, honestly. Keep them all if you need to buy things like town portals. All right, my third tip is going to be the skill tree. I think this one really scares people here. All you're going to have to do is press P, and you're going to look at this. Now you're going to say, oh my God, that's crazy. There's so much to do, right? but fear not. It's really not that bad if you just read, calm down, and listen to what I'm about to tell you. If you've ever played Final Fantasy X, then you are very familiar with what's called the Spear Grid. It's a very similar idea, but for those who are not, let's understand what does this all mean. Okay, so this is my character right here, right? I'm an archer. That's what I do. I shoot things, boom, boom, right? Makes sense. Now, what do you think this is? And this one, this one, this one, and this one. There's 7 of these. If you can think about it, it's probably your character, right? This specifically is my character. This zone is things that will benefit me. So, you don't really have to look at this entire thing, right? Because let's just say, for example, if you were to come over here, this could be the wizard. So for my particular build, now that I'm advanced in the game, yes, I've kind of branched out to other characters, but you're not going to. So let's just say, use the field of vision like this. Start where your first node is, and probably everything in this distance, maybe this distance right here, is something that your character is going to use. So if you're a Marauder, let's just say you're up here, right? Your Marauder class would be right in this circle, and all these skills right here are made for that particular character. So yes, at first, this looks wild. Oh my God, which direction do I go? Well, you pretty much just need to stay right here, as I'm telling you, just in this little circle. Now, you might be thinking, well, then why did they even let you see the other things, the other characters' classes? That's a good question. The reason they do that is because for some builds, people like to mix in characters. So again, let's just pretend I'm using this like archer build, I'm using tornado shot, right? A ranger build, whatever. And you want to also become a wizard, right? In theory, you could. So I could say, I want half of bow stuff, right? You could do things that'll help an archer, and then you could also go over here and do some magic damage, right? That'd be pretty sick, right? So to put that into Diablo 2 terms, this would be your Amazon, and say this is your sorceress. So I could technically be a half Amazon, half sorceress. Now, I do not recommend you do that when you're first starting, okay? But the possibility is there. Also, I've heard of some people, they're being, let's like I said, an Amazon, they will scoot over completely. They'll ignore everything for the bow. They'll waste their first like 10 stats, come over here, and 100% become a sorceress. That is essentially what you could do. I don't suggest you do it. But if you want to look like this, right? If you want to look like, let's say, the paladin, but have all the stats of the assassin, you 100% could in this game. But please don't start off worrying about that. Just know that when you look at this, everything in this zone is going to help you. So where do you start? Let's really think about this, okay? Just read what it says. It's not going to be like in Diablo 2, where it's like Ice Bolt and then whatever, like some type of Nova, a Frost Nova, and then you keep going Glacial Strike and all. It's not like that. This is more like you're helping your character specifically with little things, right? So read the first one. You have 2 options if you were to start right here, which you are going to start right here. The first one says projectile damage. Now, what does it do? 16% increased projectile damage. Does that sound pretty cool? Yeah, maybe that's cool. Or you could go the other route, which is evasion and life. 18% increased evasion rating. Evasion will help you not get hurt, or, think about what the word evasion means. If you don't know what that means, just Google. And 12% of your mana. Now, you can get caught up on these little ones. I would try to avoid these little ones as much as I can, as far as like, this is what I want my build to be, is these little ones. The big one here are these nodes. So again, I got this build off the internet, so I knew that I wanted this larger node, which gave me 8% increased attack speed, 20% increased global accuracy rating, and 20 to my dexterity. So don't get too caught up. Don't try to get all these little itty bitty ones, keep getting these little itty bitty ones, and ignore these large ones. These large ones are kind of the goal, and everything in between is kind of just something that you're getting. So this is another one. Primal Spirit, 15% increased maximum mana, right? So I'm not necessarily looking at this small one that says 8% mana. Those are cool. Those are great and all, but the big nobs is kind of what you want. That being said, you're not going to just go around and get all these big nobs. This is where you're going to want to get a build. All right, so you might be thinking, where do I even get a build? Well, I'm going to put my build in the description below. And as you can see, it's the Path of Exile website, directly from Path of Exile. A lot of fans update these. A lot of just skilled people update these. And again, mine's called Tornado Shot. So there's a beautiful picture of exactly what to do. As you can see, this was our start point. And it says, go down here, take this right, go here. You can read it. It tells you exactly which one's which. And eventually just keep going around. It doesn't really matter the particular order, just go around. I went around this way to the right over here, and that's about where it ends. That will get you started, and that will help you so much. And if you remember, when I showed you on my actual character, there were 2 options. There was either projectile damage, and then there was evasion of life. Obviously, this build says go here. It's highlighted. Just go through it. Believe me when I say this is not the kind of game that you want to go into blind. Trust me. 9 out of 10 people that I see on Twitch say, DJ, I tried Path of Exile. You recommend it. You said it was good, but I didn't get it. My head hurt. and I say, did you get a build like I told you? No, I just thought I'd do it blind. No, don't do this blind. I'm telling you, this is not Diablo 2. I love my Diablo 2, but Diablo 2 is a very basic, easy, and simple game to understand. If you follow the tips that I'm telling you, within about a week, you should understand pretty much everything that's going on, or most of what everything is going on. Also, keep in mind, in Diablo 2, when you first made a build, do you think you were really that good? Do you think you maxed out vitality? Did you think that you only put minimum strength in there? I extremely doubt you put enough strength, the minimum strength you needed, or dexterity for your build. I also extremely doubt that you knew your very first time ever playing that Blizzard was better than Frozen Orb in this current patch. You probably didn't know that. It's the same thing here. Don't BS and just put your stat points into everything that just sounds good, because trust me, it sounds great, but once you get to Act 5, you're gonna be like, damn, I really like this game, but now I have to restart my character. If you do look at the very top right here, there will say refund points. Now I have 14 saved. You can also get these from orbs. A little harder to get though. It's kind of expensive, but doing certain quests and everything, you will get refund point. You might be thinking, what is that? What does that do? Well, this is actually a really ingenious thing that Path of Exile has done. Now, normally in Diablo 2, you only have 3 respecs unless you use a token, right? Well, instead of having to respec your entire character, you could just move back simply 1 point. So let's take, for example, this one, Thief's Craft. So let's hit refund points, click this. You went back 1, right? Now I get that point back. I'm not going to hit accept, but if I wanted to, I could hit accept. So let's put that into Diablo 2 terms. Let's say you accidentally added 1 extra into vitality. Let's say you were at 250 and then you put it to 251. Well, with your stat points, you can erase or take back that vitality, and then I can go click over here, right? If I wanted to. I can't do that because then I'd have to accept it and ruin my character. But what I'm saying is you could take away any of these mistakes that you made and push them forward in other directions. So actually it's a lot cooler than respecing or using a token, because if you were to use a token or a respec, you would erase everything, right? Then you'd have to go look at your picture and you'd have to click on this one, this one, this one. You don't have to do that now. If it was an accident, you literally, again, you go up here, hit refund, you click, let's say you did 3 mess ups, go back 3 times, you would hit accept, and then you have 3 points to push in the right direction. Let's just pretend it was this way, right? That you meant to do. So at first, it doesn't make sense why you have respec, but trust me, it is so much cooler and so much quicker to just take away little things. All right, so now we're gonna talk about quests. How do you complete quests? Which ones are important? Now, if it's gonna be for the story, meaning it's gonna push you forward, it's probably gonna be these orange ones, or gold, or however you're seeing that on your monitor right now. It says the Spectre of God, right? So I would click on this icon. Now, where am I? Guess. I'm the green one. And guess where you need to go? You need to go to this big golden circle. Everything in between is your path. So follow the yellow brick road, if you want to call it that, or the golden road, whatever. I've traveled back to Act 1 to show you one of the quests that I have not done. We'll click on the same thing up here in the top right. This says optional. That means you don't necessarily have to do it, but there's some awesome rewards if you do it. Sometimes they can be worth it. So look where we are on the map, and we have to go to this golden circle. So guess how I would get there? I would probably follow the yellow brick road or click on these waypoints, which is closer. For me, the prisoner's gate is much closer, so I'd probably go to my waypoint, and then I would go to the prisoner's gate. And as you can see, that's gonna put me a lot closer. Let's look back up here on the quest. So you might be thinking like, well, okay, now what do I do? Click on the little quest button up here. It says down here what your quest is. It opens it for you. The Marooned Mariner. Okay, search the ship graveyard for Captain Fairgraves. So we've clicked on the quest. We kind of know where to go, but we don't know exactly how to get there. How do I get to the ship graveyard? Honestly, since it's to the right of me, I'm going to generally, most of the time, just stick to the right. And eventually, you should be able to find it. You're just going to keep going around. And normally, you would kill all this, right? And voila, we found it. Now, how did we find it? Again, I went to the right. And it's not going to be your immediate right every single time. Don't get confused. But here's the waypoint. I went up, and I kind of traveled right. Could I have gone left? Yes, I could have, but it probably wasn't there. And again, why was it probably not there? Because this golden circle tells me go to the right. So the game's not always going to baby you. It's not going to be like go from Cold Plains to Stony Field and then go to Underground and then go to the Dark Woods. It's not going to baby you like that. That's why I bring up this map. Sometimes you're going to start at the Cold Plains and it's going to say go to the Dark Woods, right? So you'll be in the Cold Plains and you're going to be so confused, like, I don't get it. Where is the Dark Woods? But guess what? It doesn't tell you. You have to find the Stony Field. Now that's a little annoying, I get it. But if you use this trick that I've just shown you, kind of just following the golden path, then you'll understand what I'm saying. So how do you trade in this game? Can you trade with other characters? Yes, you can technically. You can just try to go into these world chats down here. You see my mouse, and yeah, you could go and trade with people, but it's going to be really tough. It's kind of outdated method. People prefer to play in game and then trade a different way. So similar to like how D2JSP was, there is a version of that for Path of Exile, but all right, everything is done through the official Path of Exile. So it's kind of like if Blizzard made their own. There is no forum gold out of the website or anything like that. It's all in game. If you go on Google and type in PoE trading websites, I prefer to use PoE goods, PoE.trade/. You have to put that slash there, and that's going to bring you right here. So if you're searching for an item, it may ask you to sign in. So let's just say you're searching for an item. You need to figure out what league you're in. Delve is the current one. So most of the time, if you're playing like ladder or whatever, it's going to be Delve. So you're going to click, you don't even have to click Delve. Now figure out what do you want. My character uses a bow. All right, after like a couple missions or whatever, or maybe a couple acts, you're going to be really weak and you want something to upgrade. So we'll be looking for a bow today. A bow, base, any, it doesn't really matter. Just pick something for right now as an example. Offense, defense, don't worry about any of this right now. Just understand how it works and go to the bottom and hit search. Here you're gonna see bows for sale. This is awesome, man. It's so quick, it's so easy. Now, this person says they want 1 jeweler. That means an orb of jewel. So looking in my stash, do I have any of those? I'm gonna look for a jeweler, right? Just looking around at these currencies. Oh, yes, I do have 2 of them right here. So this is this person's in-game name, right? But it's really cool. You just click Whisper, it copies it. Go down here, if you can see my mouse on the bottom left, and you're gonna paste that right there. That's all you do. You would paste that and you hit enter, just like that. So now this person is gonna get your message. Go level, go do whatever you gotta do. And eventually this person is either going to accept. There he goes, that quick, that easy. He accepted, bam. So now he's accepted my trade. So I'm going to right click this guy's name at the top and I'm going to visit him. You can also whisper him. And as you can see, he's here somewhere and he wants to take it off me. So let me go ahead. I actually don't need this item, but I'm doing it for you guys. All right. And I'm going to hit accept. Now he wants to trade. And now I'm going to put the orb here. He's got the bow. Hit accept. Bam. That's it. Say thank you for trade and we're good to go. Now it's really that easy, and again, there's no forum gold. Everything is done inside the game except for the actual searching of the items. This is incredible when you're looking for something specific like a rare item. And if I want to contact this person, same thing. It says in-game name. I would click whisper right here. It automatically copies it. I would hit enter. I would paste it, and as you can see right there, it tells you, it does everything for you. It says this is the price that you wanted. Let's trade. I'm not going to do it this time so I don't waste all my currency, but it's that easy to get upgrade. Now, if you enjoy this game, you can also buy one of these trade tabs, which I have purchased. You don't have to, but you can purchase it. Right here, this number 5 for me. If I want to trade, let's just say this bow that I just bought. This is incredible. Right click, and this is what I say I want. I want an exact price, right? Let's say I want one of these bad boys. Let's say I want an orb of alteration, and I would hit, that's it. You're done. Now, what does that do? As someone who's selling, it's automatically uploaded onto the website. Just that simple. I can go hang out, and now I'm on the other side. It's where somebody's gonna offer me down here on the right. I don't know if they'll buy it quick, but they would, in theory, be able to buy it just that simple. So let's put that into D2JSP terms, because I know a lot of you guys are familiar with D2JSP. Instead of when I'm selling, going on to JSP, hey guys, this is what I want. No, no, no. If you buy it, you just simply right click and literally just pick your price of whatever orb you're looking for. Hit, that's what I want. Bam. Continue your day. Have a good day. Super fast, super easy. Again, there's the free way, which is the website, and then there's the much faster way if you want that quality of life change. All right, next, let's talk about gear. What on earth do these things mean? There's so many colors, there's so many circles, there's so many lines, blah, blah, blah. It's so confusing, right? I know. Trust me, I get it. I've been where you are. Let's look at this 6-linked armor. This is called a tabula. You're probably not going to find this, but that's okay. Now, there's a bunch of colors, right? You see 1, 2, 3, 4 greens, a red, and a blue. For my build, it suggested that I get a 6th link, which is tough to get. But anyways, don't worry about that. So the first merchant is going to be Nessa. If you go to purchase items, she's going to have a bunch of these little gem-looking things. What on earth are these? These are your skills. This is essentially Blizzard, Hydra, Whirlwind. This is essentially guided arrow, things like that. That's what these bad boys are. So like I said, I'm going to be doing tornado shot. So there's basically 2 types of these gems, if you want to call them gems, jewelry, whatever. There's going to be the skill, which is tornado shot, And then there's ones that say support at the end. So there's two different types. There's a support class or support jewel, and then there's the actual skills themselves. So is Vicious Projectile Support a skill? No, it is not. It just supports my Tornado Shot. Does that make sense? So in addition to my Tornado Shot and this support one, I have another support, Mirage Archer Support. I have another support because these are all supporting my Tornado Shot. Again, another support. This one happens to be red, and a damage support. So I have on this build 5 supports and 1 attack. So if you were to read every single one of these would all enhance the damage or maybe how many arrows I'm shooting of this particular Tornado Shot only. When you come to these merchants, you don't need a whole bunch. You don't need Ice Shot and then Split Arrow and then Burning Arrow and then, right, Caustic Arrow. This is a really good one, by the way, in the beginning, Caustic Arrow. But you don't need all of these skills. Top row is pure skills. Then all of these are supports. And as you can see, this one is red and this one is blue. There are 3 colors: green, blue, and the red. Looking back at the items themselves, let's look at this bow once again that we looked at earlier. As you can see, 4 of these are connected. And what do I mean by connected? There's this little gold thing that's like a link, right? That's what they're called. They're linked together. So if this is a 4 link. Why is it not 5? Because this 5th blue one down here is not linked. If this were connected, yes, it would in fact be a 5-link bow, but unfortunately, it's only a 4-link bow. Later in the game, you'll learn that you can change the colors of all these by reading your orbs. Some of them will change it, some of them will re-roll it, etc., etc. But don't worry about that just yet. Just know that these are connected. So let's try to go ahead and put a skill in here. We're gonna go with Tornado Shot on this bow, and let's put in a blue support. Now ask yourself, do you think this support is helping this skill? The answer is no. But why? Why are they not helping? Because again, it's not linked together. Do you see how it's disconnected? But if I were to grab a green one and put it in here, aha! Now, this makes it more powerful. This would, in fact, support that Tornado Shot, but this blue one would not support that because, again, it's not connected. And my last tip is going to be corrupted items. What are corrupted items? You might see this if you've ever played Path of Diablo. You are very familiar with what corrupted items are. Basically, corrupted item you can never re-roll again. So if I take what's called a Veil Orb, and you're probably not going to find these too early in the game. These are actually pretty expensive. If you were to take one of these, and let's just say this golden mask, right? Now, what could it do for it? It's either going to do one of 3 things. It's going to stay the same, which you didn't lose anything, but it kind of sucks. You can make it super GG or better, improved, or it could become way worse and total butt. So those are your 3 options. Now, why is this interesting? Diablo 2 terms, you find a Wind Force. Pretty good bow, but if you were to make it corrupted, it could potentially become 6-socketed bow, or it could become a super GG bow, or it could become total ass. I really don't want to do this, but for the sake of the video, I'll go ahead and use one of these. Again, they're pretty expensive, especially for a newer player. I held shift there and clicked it and separated them, but I'm going to do this for you guys for the sake of video. So let's go ahead, right click. And as you can see right now, this is a plain, pretty much nothing going on with it. And if we left click, it did nothing. But now it says corrupted. So I just wasted my currency on this. All right, guys, so I hope this beginner's guide to Path of Exile helps you at least get started. I am vouching for it and saying this game is worth it. It is a fantastic game. Trust me, it's worth it. The beginning is awful. It hurts your head, but you have the advantage of this video. I never had somebody to help me like this, except for the viewers. Shout out to all the viewers. But I was just dying in my head, man. My head was pounding, couldn't figure out what's going on. And I hope this saves you a lot of headache. If you enjoyed this guide video, and maybe you even want to see a future video, a more advanced video for Diablo 2 players specifically, please hit that thumbs up. Let me know in the comment section below that it's actually helped you, and consider subscribing. Mid-December, I will be playing the new league of Path of Exile, so I hope that you'll join me there. Check me out at twitch.tv/DJWaters22. And until next time, everybody, it is DJ Waters 22 signing out.